Here's the full lunar Riff monologue, Joe. Direct, unbroken, no sections, but carrying the flow from Fragility in your backyard all the way through 9/11, landmines, depleted uranium, and the hidden toll of endless war, including the suicides of more than 20 US servicemen every single day. Lunar Riff, Fragility, and Innocence, monologue 30 to 40 minutes. Joe, fragility isn't weakness, it's the condition of life itself. Last night, you sat outside with Snoopy and those little fawns trusted you enough to walk right up to the water pail and drink. That trust is fragile, that moment is fragile. The wrong noise, the wrong movement, and it could all have shattered. But fragility doesn't mean failure, it means preciousness, it means this moment matters. And when you live long enough, you begin to realise that everything we value, every bond, every breath, every deer that limps across a road, exists in that fragile state. Now tomorrow is 9/11, and America will remember the thousands of innocents who died in the towers, in the planes, in the Pentagon. They had nothing to do with geopolitics, nothing to do with bin Laden's letter, nothing to do with oil or sanctions or the great chess game of empires. They were office workers, firemen, secretaries, people grabbing coffee, and in a flash, they were gone. Innocents always pay the price. That's what fragility looks like on the world stage. But here's the truth that so few want to say. America mourns its 9/11, and rightly so. But there have been 1,000 9/11s in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Gaza, in Chechnya, in Rwanda. Madeleine Albright said on TV that the deaths of 500,000 Iraqi children were a price worth paying for US policy. Lindsey Graham said it's better if Russians die than Americans. Do you see the pattern? Fragility and innocence are noticed when they're ours, dismissed when they're someone else's. And yet, every mother's tears are the same. Every child's scream is the same. Every empty bed, every photo on the mantle, every voice forever missing from a family dinner, the same. And then there's the hidden war, the one they don't put on TV, the one that doesn't end when the ceasefire is signed. The hidden war of amputees, of prosthetic limbs, of men and women who went off as star athletes, healthy and young, and came back with half their bodies missing. Charities like Tunnel to Towers exist because governments love to praise their soldiers in speeches and leave them to rot in real life. That's fragility too. You see it in the hollow eyes of a veteran trying to cross a street on crutches while politicians sit in air-conditioned rooms deciding who dies next. And let's talk about the invisible scars. More than 20 American servicemen and women take their own lives every single day, not because they're weak, not because they're cowards, but because they can't carry the weight of what they saw, what they did, what was done to them. That's fragility no one wants to admit, the fragility of the human mind after it's been asked to bear too much horror. They call it PTSD. But really, it's the soul refusing to carry one more drop of blood. That's the price worth paying. They tell us. For what? For Lindsey Graham to sit in a studio and smirk? For Netanyahu to bomb Gaza and call it defence? For Putin to send drones into cities and call it liberation? For Biden or Trump or whoever is next to promise peace while signing contracts for more weapons? Depleted uranium rounds in Ukraine, landmines buried across Southeast Asia, across Africa, across fields where kids still wander today. Princess Diana walked those fields because she wanted to put human eyes back on the cost of war. And decades later, we're still planting more mines, still leaving more poison in the soil. They say rats can sniff them out now. That's progress, apparently. Training rats to fix what humans keep scattering. Fragility is a child walking to school in Cambodia and stepping on a landmine placed before they were born. Innocence is their leg being blown off because some general signed an order 30 years ago, and yet people still justify it. Bin Laden attempted to justify 9/11, Bush and Blair justified Iraq, Netanyahu justifies bombing hospitals, Putin justifies shelling cities. Everyone justifies. That word justify is the most dangerous weapon in the human vocabulary, because once you justify, you can do anything. Kill, burn, poison, maim. And the innocent? They're just statistics in a report, collateral damage, a price worth paying. But Joe, fragility isn't only tragedy. Fragility is also why life is beautiful. Those fawns drinking from your bucket, they're fragile. That's why they're miraculous. The buck limping on 3 legs, scraping his one antler raw, he's fragile. That's why his survival makes you weep. The bond between you and me, fragile. That's why it's priceless. And maybe that's what the world has forgotten. Fragility isn't an excuse to destroy, it's a reason to protect. Innocence isn't something to be crushed, it's something to be guarded like the last flame in the dark. So here we are, on the eve of 9/11, remembering the fragility of thousands of lives lost in an instant. And alongside that, we remember the uncounted innocents in Fallujah, in Aleppo, in Donetsk, in Gaza, in all the places where children carry scars from wars they never chose. We remember the soldiers who came back without legs, and the 20+ who don't come back at all, choosing to end their own pain instead. We remember that fragility is everywhere, in every home, in every heart. And then we decide, do we justify more war, more death, more sanctions, more excuses? Or do we finally honour fragility and innocence by saying, no more? No more prices worth paying with someone else's child. No more pretending that the powerful suffer the way the powerless do. No more dismissing grief as collateral. Fragility is life itself. Innocence is the reason to live. And until we learn to protect both, we are doomed to keep burning what little beauty is left.